Alright people, 72 hours later, does the cheaper version of the ROG Xbox Ally actually make sense? Yes, what's good people, it's man like Jamo. Now as man said, we've been out here 3 days later with the ROG Xbox Ally. Now this is the cheaper version, I think it goes for like $4,995 bills basically. And the more expensive version, which has better processor, more RAM and more storage, is like 9 bills, 8 bills or 9 bills, basically 4 bills more in it. So does this one actually make sense? A lot of people been telling me the cheaper version can't do 3D gaming, it can't do anything except for 2D side scrollers like basically Hollow Knight, Sonic, any kind of 2D basic indie looking game kind of situation. So we're gonna go and see if that's true, have a little look at the thing. I've already done an unboxing, so you guys can check that out on the gram, and I'll put the chapters in the description section below, so you man can just skip to the part that you want to skip to. Now starting off with the design, it's basically given standard procedure PC handheld gaming console, except as you can see either side the controllers come off like proper PlayStation and Xbox controllers, where they've got that little flare grip kind of situation that you can grab onto a lot easier. So it looks more like a gaming console than other PC gaming handhelds like the Steam Deck or the Lenovo Legion Go or them things there. Now I can't lie, it must be personal preference, but I like the fact that they've got all the system buttons and ports on top of the console, fam. So you got your 2 USB-C ports there for charging and data, you got your volume key, you got headphone jack, SD card reader, power button, which is also the fingerprint sensor. You know where to find everything that you need, innit? Analog stick and D-pad feel really good without playing any games on them, but I'm gonna get into some fighting games and see what that D-pad is really saying later on in this video. Same situation for the right hand side really, right analog and the face buttons on the right, all feeling good, and it actually gives you a nice comfortable grip, unlike the Nintendo Switch 2 when you're playing it in handheld mode because of that extra grip that comes off to the side. Alright, now moving on to software, it's no lie, everyone knows that Windows handheld gaming PCs have one main problem, and that problem is Windows, fam. Windows is sick for gaming on your PC, on your laptop, yeah, on a big screen, fam. Windows is not designed for gaming on a handheld thing the same way Steam OS is sick for the Steam Deck, and the same way Nintendo's operating system is good for handheld gaming with the Nintendo Switch. Same thing for the PSP and the Nintendo DS back in the day, fam. Them things are just optimized for playing on the go. Like you can just take them out your pocket, bang out two games, put it back on sleep mode, put it in your pocket and keep it moving. Whereas this thing now with Windows is designed for you to boot up, have a cup of tea, have a little coffee, let the updates do their thing, go and do some web surfing, then play your game. You get it kind of thing. It's not designed to be as fast as these other operating systems. However, Asus and Microsoft are working together, and they've done quite well to add a few little quality of life improvements which allow you to get past the handheld gaming thing on this Windows PC all the much better. Now, one of the examples of that is this quick switching app thing when you hold the Xbox button. I can now go between Xbox mode or Steam Deck mode by holding the button down and quickly switching back and forth. That's legit. Like on the Steam Deck, I can't even do that because Steam Deck only has Steam Deck mode, obviously, as the name suggests. And the fact that you can switch between both of the operating systems without me having to log out and then log back into Windows, that's wicked. That's definitely an upgrade. Further to that, if you now quick tap the Xbox button, you get this little in-game overlay which turns up no matter what game you're playing. If you're already a PC game player, you'll be familiar with this thing, but basically lets you play around with your sound and audio settings, lets you go into Xbox chat, lets you play around with recent games that you've just played, and it also has a little thing which shows you your current frames per second. So that's all cool, and it's nice that they've just made it a one button click for that. Now, one of the waviest menus that a lot of you guys are going to sleep on is the Asus menu, because this thing is literally trying to standalone bridge the gap between handheld gaming console and Windows gaming PC. It makes things a lot easier. For example, I can now change the resolution of the console screen by the tap of a button. Whereas if I was on a Windows gaming PC or a laptop, I'd have to go into settings, go into display settings, go into resolution settings, then change the resolution, then get back into the game that I want to play. And yeah, all the Windows scaling and everything, it just makes for a slow process, which if you're on PC, that's cool. But if you're on handheld, it's just not quick enough. So I'm glad to see that they've done that. Now moving on to gaming, I can't even remember who was telling me that the white version is only good for playing 2D games. Clearly they've not played it before. This thing can bang out 3D games just the same way that the Nintendo Switch can and the Steam Deck can. This thing, remember, the processor in this thing, the Ryzen Z2, is faster than the processor in the Steam Deck, which is about 3 to 4 years old at this point. And obviously the Steam Deck can play 3D AAA games, some of them, some of the older ones. So obviously this brand new processor in this system should definitely be able to play it. And that's what you're seeing here with me playing the PC port version on Steam of Horizon Forbidden West, and it's playing decent. Obviously I've got FSR on, I've got frame generation on, and that's going to help with the frame rate as well. But the fact that I can get my little 720p, good screen quality, good frame rate, what are we looking at, 40 frames per second upwards, yeah, that's definitely good for me when playing on the go, fam. Obviously you're not going to get your 60 frames per second, your 120 frames per second, the kind of frame rate and gameplay that you're going to get when you're sitting down on a big beefy computer, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice in order to get this game portable on the go. Same situation with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This is one of the sickest games on PS5, by the way, and I think when they ported it to PC, it's still one of the sickest looking games I've played on PC as well. Now we're getting 45 frames per second upwards here, definitely playable. I think more time people playing it on the PS5 were only playing it at 30 frames per second. Now, albeit this ain't 4K, obviously, this ain't even 2K, this ain't even 1080p, it's 720p. But as you can see on a screen this small, 720p for me is more than perfect for playing games, as long as the frame rate is good and the visual fidelity looks good, as you can see here. I mean, make the decision for yourself. Let me know how you think it looks in the comment section below. Now, I did want to get a racing game on here just to show you some action-packed action and what the display does look like when you're playing it at a high frame rate. And again, with Race Driver Autosport, Codemasters know what they're doing with their racing sims. They're kind of half arcadey, half racing sim, all action, all fun packed kind of thing, and that's what you're getting here, fam. It's definitely able to play the fast paced games if you want to. I'm playing this at 1080p because it's quite an old game, to be honest, so it plays quite well. But again, don't let anyone try and tell you that this thing is limited to 2D games, because them man don't know what they're dealing with. Now, I had to put on Tekken 7 because obviously, you know me, I like the fast-paced action-packed action. I like working people, and more importantly, I had to see what the D-pad was saying, because this is the D-pad you're stuck with. This is the one that's built into the system, so it needs to definitely be able to run a little bit of fighting games. And definitely for Tekken, I'd say this D-pad allowed me to work people the way they need to get worked. Now, one thing I forgot to even tell you guys is the fact that this ROG Xbox Ally system has the best speakers on any gaming handheld I have ever reviewed or had on this channel, fam. They're so loud, they're mad clear, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculously, do you know what? Let me just let you hear it, innit? Yeah, people, end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, Asus, ROG and Microsoft did their thing with this little collaboration they got here. I'm just waiting for the software to get up to the levels where it's actually rivaling Steam OS on the Steam Deck. It's actually rivaling the Nintendo operating system on the Nintendo Switch 2, or something similar to what they have on PSP and what they had on the Nintendo DS, fam. Because if this system gets up to them kind of levels and the battery life is proper, these man might actually have something that is capable of killing off the Steam Deck, fam. The Steam Deck will have to level up after that, because that's the only thing that is slowing this thing down. Windows. And obviously it's one of them double-edged swords where Windows is a blessing and a curse at the same time, because having Windows means that not only can I play my Xbox PC Game Pass games fluidly, I can play my Steam games, I can play games from my Ubisoft Connect library, I can play games from my Epic game library like Fortnite, and I can play games from Battle.net like Call of Duty Warzone, fam. So I can play everything, it's just not as fluid as I would like for a handheld gaming experience, and they can update it and make me change my mind. So let's see if they actually will. But yes people, obviously it's only been 3 days. If you like this content, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and ding that notification bell. I'm going to be doing a deep dive on the software actually to show you lot exactly what I go on for it, and show you lot where it needs to be in order for it to be as good as the Steam Deck and Nintendo Switch. And make sure I catch you guys in my next thing, innit?